The World-Class World Six-Man Tag Team Championship wasn't the first six-man tag title in professional wrestling, but it is likely the most famous. The centerpiece of a legendary feud through most of its existence, the World-Class Six-Man title inspired other territories to introduce their own version of the title, and are still inspiring the same thing today. The title's history is relatively short, but with the importance it carried in World Class, not including it would leave the series of Lineage videos incomplete. Like every title Lineage video on this channel, it's really just a glorified list, but there is a lot of story surrounding the title, especially in the early going. The tag title was originally known as the World Class World Six-Man Tag Team Championship. Rather than the traditional championship belts, the six-man title would be represented by a large trophy. The title lineage begins on one of the most important dates in world-class wrestling history. On December 25, 1982, at the Christmas Star Wars card in Dallas, Texas at Reunion Arena, Freebirds Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes tagged with David Von Erich, who was replacing an absent Buddy Roberts, to become the first World Six-Man Tag Team Champions. They would defeat the team of Iron Mike Sharp, Tom Steele, and Ben Sharp in what was said to be a tournament final. Von Erich would relinquish his third of the title to Roberts, who was unable to make it to the card because of travel problems. This would also set a precedent for the six-man title, allowing one-third of the championship to be taken over by another wrestler. There were two interesting notes about that first title match. One big one you probably already know, and one small one you likely don't. Of course, the one you already know is the 1982 Christmas Star Wars card was also the beginning of the legendary Von Erichs vs. Freebirds feud. That happened when, later in the night, Michael Hayes served as the special referee in Kerry Von Erich's cage match against NWA World Champion Ric Flair. After an altercation between Kerry and Hayes, Terry Gordy slammed the cage door on Kerry's head. All of it happening roughly an hour after Kerry's brother David scored the winning pinfall to give the Freebirds the six-man title. What is lesser known about that six-man match, even among most world-class fans, is the story behind the opponents that lost. While Iron Mike Sharp was a notable figure in pro wrestling through the 1970s and 1980s, Tom Steele and Ben Sharp were never seen again, at least under those names, as that was the only time they used them. 2 weeks after the Christmas card, Tom Steele would appear in World Class under the name Johnny Mantell, and went on to be a popular mid-carder in World Class over the next few years. Ben Sharp would return to World Class a little over a year later, using his real name Kelly Kiniski, the son of former NWA World Champion Gene Kiniski. With the stage set, the Von Erichs and Freebirds feud went into full swing with the six-man championship in the middle of the fray. The Freebirds kept a tight grip on the title at first, keeping the trophy 191 days in the first reign, which would end up being the second longest reign in the history of the title. Finally, on July 4, 1983, at the Independence Day Star Wars card in Fort Worth, Kevin, David, and Kerry Von Erich won the six-man title for the first time. The Von Erichs would only hold the title for 39 days, dropping it back to Gordy, Hayes, and Roberts on August 12, 1983 in Dallas, and making the Freebirds the first team to hold the title more than once. The Freebirds had another long run as champions, but a sizable wrench was thrown in their reign. On November 24th, Michael Hayes lost to Kerry Von Erich in a loser leaves town match at the Thanksgiving Day Star Wars card at Reunion Arena. Hayes couldn't wrestle in Texas for 1 year. That left the champions one bird short for their December 2nd six-man title defense against the Von Erichs at the Sportatorium. Ric Flair came in to replace Hayes in the match, having just begun his second run as NWA World Champion in Greensboro, North Carolina, the same night Hayes lost the loser leaves town match. The Flair-flavored Freebirds would lose to Kevin, David, and Kerry as the Von Erichs began their second run with the six-man title on December 2nd, 1983. With Michael Hayes already gone, Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts challenged Kevin and Mike Von Erich to a no-disqualification match for the 1983 Christmas Star Wars card. The match would carry the stipulation that whichever wrestler lost to fall would be forced to leave Texas for 1 year, and if Gordy and Roberts won, Michael Hayes would be allowed to come back in. With Mike having just begun his career and only having had 3 matches at that point, the stipulation was adjusted to have Kevin leave Texas if either one of them took the loss. In a wild match that even saw Michael Hayes make an appearance disguised as Santa Claus, Kevin pinned Gordy to win the match and leave Buddy Roberts as the only Freebird still in Dallas. All of this led to the first and only Phantom match in six-man title history. Now, for those that don't know, a Phantom match is a match that never really took place. In days long before the internet, and even when cable TV was still fairly new, promoters and bookers who needed to have a title change hands would simply tell the fans it happened, with the fictional match usually taking place far from the home city of the territory. In this case, in reality, Gordy and Hayes had been on a tour of Japan, and the loser leaves town matches were used to explain their absence. To bring them back, World Class made use of a Phantom match. Officially, the Von Erichs lost the World Six-Man Tag Team Championship back to Gordy, Hayes, and Roberts on January 10, 1984. The only location given was somewhere in Georgia. Fans were told the Freebirds challenged the Von Erichs to defend the title in the Peach State with the disqualification rule waived. The brothers readily accepted, not knowing the Iron Claw had been banned in Georgia. When Kevin applied to hold one of the Freebirds, the Von Erichs were disqualified, and the Birds took the championship. The Von Erichs then petitioned to allow Hayes and Gordy to return to Texas so they could try to win the tag title back. The Freebirds did return, but just a month after the Phantom match was said to have taken place, everything would change. On February 10, 1984, David Von Erich passed away while in Japan. It was obviously devastating for the Von Erich family as well as world-class fans, and for what happened in the ring, it changed the dynamic of the biggest feud in the territory. David was not only one of the biggest stars in world class, he was set to win the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship from Ric Flair. Brother Kerry would step in to take his place, with fans told Kerry was chosen after a coin flip between he and Kevin. With the match set for the David Von Erich Memorial Parade of Champions on May 6, 1984 at Texas Stadium, Mike Von Erich stepped into one of the now 2 empty spots in the match for the World Six-Man Tag Team Championship. Fritz Von Erich, the father of the Von Erich boys, would come out of retirement for 1 day to tag with Kevin and Mike against the champion Freebirds. The Von Erichs won the title in the Bad Street Rolls match, which was essentially an anything goes match. Fritz then relinquished his third of the title to Kerry, who defeated Ric Flair for the world title on that same card. Kerry's world title reign would only last about 3 weeks, and he was back on a regular schedule in world class by the beginning of June. Officially, the Von Erichs held the title 48 days when the National Wrestling Alliance stepped in to strip them of the title and vacate the championship. In storyline, the Freebirds petitioned the NWA saying the results of the match should be negated, as the Von Erich scoring the winning pinfall was not the legal man in the ring. And the Freebirds were right. Kevin had tagged out to Fritz, making Fritz and Roberts the legal men in the ring. All 6 wrestlers eventually entered the ring, and in the confusion, it was Kevin pinning Roberts to win the match. The Von Erichs' 48 days as champions would be recognized, but they were also not allowed to keep the championship. In a rematch to determine new champions at the Independence Day Star Wars card on July 4, 1984 in Fort Worth, Gordy, Hayes, and Roberts won the World Six-Man Tag Championship for the 4th time in another Bad Street match. The Freebirds got an assist from Killer Khan when the referee's back was turned, leading to Hayes pinning Kerry. After 61 days, the Freebirds lost the 6-man title back to Kevin, Kerry, and Mike Von Erich on September 3, 1984 in Fort Worth. Due to Mike having a separated shoulder, Kevin and Kerry wrestled with a 2-on-3 disadvantage in the match, though Mike would come in at the end and play a part. That match was also a Bad Street match in a cage with a loser leaves town stipulation. The Freebirds were headed to the WWF and were gone for the time being, meaning the Von Erichs needed a new trio of villains. That process began on September 28th, when Von Erich ally Chris Adams turned on Kevin Von Erich. At the Cotton Bowl Extravaganza on October 27, 1984, Chris Adams, Gino Hernandez, and Jake Roberts became the first team not made up of Von Erichs or Freebirds to win the World Six-Man Tag Championship. They defeated Kerry and Mike Von Erich, teaming with Bobby Fulton, who stood in for Kevin Von Erich, who was injured in a match against Adams earlier on the card. World Class also did away with the trophy and replaced it with traditional championship belts. Adams, Hernandez, and Roberts held the tag titles for 65 days, losing them back to Kevin, Kerry, and Mike on December 31, 1984 in Fort Worth. The Von Erichs held the championship for 188 days, the second longest reign in title history at the time, but with Jake Roberts leaving World Class and breaking up the 6-man team with Adams and Hernandez, opponents for the Von Erichs had to be pieced together. The Von Erichs dropped the belts to the Gary Hart-led team of Mark Lewin, Killer Tim Brooks, and One Man Gang on July 7, 1985. Again, Kevin and Kerry wrestled in the match in a 2-on-3 disadvantage as Mike was out with an injury. The match was said to take place in Reno, Nevada, but it's not clear if it was a phantom match or if they really did have a match in Reno. Another tragic event indirectly affected the six-man title when Mike Von Erich's shoulder surgery in August 1985 led to a battle for his life against toxic shock syndrome. It would be almost a year before Mike was back in the ring and the Von Erichs turned to a real-life family friend to team with them in his place. Kevin and Kerry Von Erich teamed with Brian Adias to win the six-man title on September 2, 1985 at the Labor Day Star Wars card in Fort Worth. They defeated one-man gang, Mark Lewin and Jack Victory, with Victory subbing for Tim Brooks, who was out with a kayfabe injury. In reality, Brooks was on tour in Japan. Going into 1986, changes were on the horizon in World Class, but there was also a sense of familiarity, as the fabulous Freebirds were back in the territory. On January 3, 1986, Terry Gordy, Michael Hayes, and Buddy Roberts ended the Von Erich-Adias title reign at 123 days, taking the six-man tag championship for the fifth and final time. That would be the most times the same three-man team held the World Class six-man tag team championship. Just over a month later, World Class broke away from the National Wrestling Alliance and began operating as the World Class Wrestling Association. Therefore, the full name of the six-man championship became the WCWA World Six-Man Tag Team Championship, with the Freebirds being the first team to hold the title under that name. The Freebirds held the six-man title for 121 days, dropping the belts to Kerry Von Erich, kayfabe cousin Lance Von Erich, and Steve Simpson on May 4, 1986 at the third annual David Von Erich Memorial Parade of Champions at Texas Stadium. Simpson was subbing in the match for an injured Kevin Von Erich and would later relinquish his third of the title to Kevin. That started an odd reign that would be the longest in the history of the tag title and end in real-life heartbreak. For better or worse, Mike Von Erich returned to the ring in June after his near-death experience the previous year. Less than a month later, Kerry Von Erich had the horrendous motorcycle crash that we now know led to his foot being amputated. With Kerry out of action, Mike officially took his place on the six-man team on July 4, 1986. Combined, the Von Erich team held the six-man belts a total of 343 days in that reign, and including Steve Simpson's involvement, included 5 different wrestlers holding a share of the title. The tag title was officially vacated on April 12, 1987, after Mike Von Erich took his own life. The six-man title remained vacant until December 25, 1987 at that year's Christmas Star Wars card when the team of Kevin Von Erich, Steve Simpson, and a once-again babyface Chris Adams took the championship. They defeated a revamped version of the Freebirds consisting of Terry Gordy, Buddy Roberts, and Iceman King Parsons in a steel cage match. Just 10 days later in Dallas, Gordy, Roberts, and Parsons won the belts, defeating Simpson, Adams, and Matt Bourne, who was substituting for Kevin Von Erich. That leads to the final title change in World Six-Man Tag Team Championship history. Michael Hayes had returned to Dallas, but was now a babyface, aligned with the Von Erichs. Though the shine of the six-man title had dimmed considerably at this point, there was something very symbolic about the final championship team. On July 8, 1988 in Dallas, the team of Kevin Von Erich, Kerry Von Erich, and Michael Hayes defeated Buddy Roberts, Iceman Parsons, and Kamala, substituting for Terry Gordy, who was on tour in Japan. 2 Von Erichs and a former Freebird holding the title together. That final reign would officially last 14 days, ending when WCWA deactivated the World Six-Man Tag Team Championship. It was a short history, only lasting about 5.5 years, but as the centerpiece of the organization, it had a wild existence. 12 different unique teams held the championship, with, for the record, Kevin Von Erich being the individual holding a third of the title the most times, with 11 in a combined 788 days. I hope you enjoyed this look at the World Class Six-Man Tag Team Championship. If you'd like to see more title lineage videos, you can check out the playlist on the end screen, or check out one of the other videos on the channel. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, not necessarily in that order, and I will see you next time.